Our next guest today is Rabir Baitiya from Human Appeal International. Rabir Baitiya is the branch manager for Human Appeal International in Melbourne. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program, Rabir.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hayyakum Allah, akhi.
Firstly, tell us a little bit about Human Appeal International, what activities you guys partake in.
As everyone knows, since Human Appeal was established, Human Appeal specialized in the humanitarian and aid programs. Human Appeal is working worldwide with some funding branches around the world, as well as over 17 field offices around the world where we distribute our aid. As Australian branch, and we are based in Australia, we indeed represent the Australian Muslim community when we provide or offer any help around the world or even locally.
That sounds fantastic, inshallah. And currently you're telling me the organisation has set up the Queensland Floods Appeal online. That was very recent. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Again, as we are part of this community, we cannot close our eye for what was happening in Queensland. And unfortunately, I can't say only Queensland. Now we are in Victoria and probably are listening on the news. Now in many areas in Melbourne, in Victoria, there's some the water is rising and there's some floods starting in many areas like Horsham and others probably you can find on the news. So I'm afraid that the issue of the flooding did hit many areas. And but yes, indeed, sooner we heard about the Queensland crisis with the flood. We have started an appeal, SMS campaign, email campaign, and now inshallah we're going to send out a mail campaign, and we're trying to do some activities and events just to support those who are affected with the flood, mainly in Queensland as well as anywhere else in Australia. I mean, because we consider ourselves that we represent, as I said, the Muslim community in all Australia, not only in one part.
Definitely. Is there a contact number and like the website they can visit?
Yes, definitely. I mean, our brothers and sisters and mainly the community, always they can log on our website, www.humanappeal.org.au. On the website, they can find the appeal, they can donate online. And for anyone who wants to talk directly to one of our brothers and sisters working in Human Appeal offices, they can call the number in Sydney, 0297503161. So 0297503161, and the brothers and sisters there, they will take their calls. Inshallah, they are more than happy to help them. Even we have sent an SMS to all our community in Brisbane. We offer them any urgent needed help, whether they are in need for food, any sort of help. And alhamdulillah, we are in contact with many authorities in Queensland, with the Islamic Council of Queensland and some other Muslim volunteers who are doing really significant job. They are trying to help as much as they can.
Inshallah, it's always good. People can definitely lend a helping hand. Once again, brother, Jazakallah khairan for your efforts, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thank
and
you
wish
very much.
Human Appeal all the best for the future, inshallah.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much and good luck for you.
Thank you. Assalamu
alaikum. Assalam wa rahmatullah.
Our final guest for today is a brother by the name of Abdullah Kundi. Abdullah is a 26-year-old medical student at UNSW, and he's currently in the process of organising a project to assist our fellow Queenslanders, which is why he's on the show today. So, Brother Abdullah, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam, jazakallah khair, thanks for having me.
Firstly, brother, tell us a little bit about the CREW project you're organising for the Queensland flood disaster.
The CREW project, well, basically CREW is just an acronym which essentially stands for Relief Emergency Workforce. It's an acronym that's been derived by the Queensland Volunteering Association, and so essentially what I'm trying to put together is a group of guys that are happy to go up there and do emergency relief. So the plan at the moment actually is to tack on to a project that's been also organised by Al Ghazali Centre from here in Sydney, and essentially cook food for people that haven't been able to return to their homes yet and are without food, and also clean up the streets so that people can return to their homes.
So do people need to bring along shovels or any kind of equipment?
It won't be necessary to bring any equipment. Everything will be up there when we get there, inshallah.
What cities are you targeting? I mean, Brisbane is Australia's third largest city. Are you going to target Brisbane or other sort of towns like Ipswich and other flood-affected towns?
Ipswich is absolutely on the list, but given that it's one of the most flood-affected areas and also has a pretty significant population, Ipswich to Brisbane would be sort of like Campbelltown to Sydney. It is a pretty significant area. But certainly then Brisbane is also on the list, and perhaps Rockhampton. But when we're talking about Brisbane, we're not talking about going into the city where the skyscrapers are. We're talking more about the outer-lying suburbs.
All right. And as an Australian Muslim, volunteering and helping others is obviously very much part of our faith. So I guess a lot of people would find themselves helpless at times like these. You kind of want to help, but you don't exactly know what to do. So what do you suggest to our Muslim youth?
Well, the first thing I'd suggest to Muslim youth is actually get in touch with any volunteering organisation as soon as possible, not just for the floods, take the floods as an opportunity to be inspired to do something. I myself was in an organisation called St John Ambulance for 15 years. Without talking myself up, I did 2,000 hours of voluntary community service while I was a part of that organisation. Wow. And I also helped establish a division, a youth division of that organisation, only for Muslim youth in Bankstown. So I'd recommend that as an organisation. I'd even recommend just getting involved in scouts and stuff like that as well. But if really, as a young person, they're concerned about the floods, and indeed, we only need to look at a handful of the hero stories that have come out of the floods and how they have affected young people. The 13-year-old boy who literally gave up his life to save his 10-year-old brother. SubhanAllah, it's an indication that a 16-year-old can do even more and a 19-year-old can do even more. But yeah, certainly feeling helpless and not being sure is a concern. So I would advise that the people out there, instead of buying their McDonald's meal this week, take $5 and give it to one of the charities that have either been mentioned previously or that I've mentioned now, Al Ghazali Centre, the Ansar Project, so that the work that is being done can be helped. If they think they've got a bit more time, then give these organisations a call and try and tack on to the projects that are already being done.
Yeah, the Queensland flood crisis, I don't think we understand how, viral it's went. It's received widespread coverage worldwide, and even the extent of the damage is massive. They compared it, they said it was actually worse than the epic 1974 floods. So thousands of homes have been under threat and towns are literally underwater. And I think to date, 20 people are dead and about 90 to 100 people are missing. So the least we can do, as you're saying, brother, is take initiative as Muslim youth living in New South Wales and take it to the next level instead of just empathising at home and making dua for our brothers and sisters in Queensland. So definitely taking initiative is what you're sort of trying to push, I guess.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is, there is a whole range of opportunities available. It doesn't need to be going up to Queensland and shoveling sewage out of the streets. The Prophet ﷺ said that charity is obligatory upon every Muslim every day that they wake up. And ﷺ, he went through a range of opportunities available for charity, and some of them were helping a man onto his horse, helping him load luggage onto his horse, smiling, removing a danger from the road. All these things are charities and therefore helpful, and anyone can do these base level things. But certainly I think that $5, that's the challenge that I'd put out to everybody, would be pretty feasible for most people. And given that we've got somewhere in the order of about 100,000 Muslims, either 25 or below in Sydney, surely we can contribute quite a bit to the devastation that has happened in Queensland at the moment. But the other thing that I'd really want to emphasise out of this is don't just leave it at Queensland. Volunteer in some other capacity permanently. Find something to do.
There's the Victoria floods as well. Backtracking a bit to your crew project, do you think you guys will be stopping by Victoria to help out there after Queensland?
Depending on the opportunities available, we will. See, the advantage with Queensland is that, particularly when we're talking about cooking food and cleaning up the streets, that basically the councils up there and the state government have invited anybody to come up and assist. If Victoria does the same, then certainly we'll do the same. Sometimes when you need to engage in planning with government groups, it can be a little bit difficult. There are logistical issues that need to be dealt with, like insurance and that sort of stuff. But as long as there's an open invitation, then inshallah we'll certainly head down there and assist as well.
That sounds good. So where are you guys going to be staying when you go up to Queensland?
Well, the plan at the moment is actually to stay in some of the masajid up there. And so to be combining not only a pretty solid religious experience up there, but also the experience to deal with the mainstream community. And again, this is coming from the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that the best of Muslims are those that go out among the people and are patient. And those Muslims are better than the ones that don't go out among the people. And I mean, obviously what we're talking about, shoveling sewage or cooking for people who are going to be tired and hungry and probably frustrated and not immediately appreciative, is going to require a lot of patience. And, it's something that's so dramatically emphasised in our faith, and here's an opportunity to literally live it.
I think you're sort of killing two birds with one stone, because not only are you helping out your fellow Australians, it's an opportune time to do dawah.
Absolutely.
For a non-Muslim to know that you've come with a group of 5, 10, maybe 15 brothers from New South Wales, went out of your way to come to Queensland to assist in the recovery efforts. So.
Absolutely. And on top of that, I think that we need to be realistic about things like returning the favour, so to speak. During the Pakistan floods recently, ABC with UNICEF raised, I think, $2 million or something like that for the Pakistan floods, and that was just ABC Sydney local radio. So surely we can kind of return the favour in some regard with, a couple of days of work, or, as I said, the minimum challenge would be $5 from everybody.
Very practical application for our youth out there.
Yeah, and it's really not too difficult to do. I mean, you just pretty much have to pitch in with whatever skills or time or, money that you have and can put towards it. I guess that brings us to the end of the interview for today. Thank you very much for coming in, Brother Abdullah, and good luck with your efforts up in Queensland.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I'll just say, anyone that wants to know more, go to the Al Ghazali website, please.
Thank you.
We hope you guys found our last segment insightful and beneficial to some extent. If you need any further information or have any comments or queries, please leave us a post on our Facebook page. You're listening to The Y Factor on 87.6 FM.